I would
So US,
also, can I do a
yeah, go
commercial
for it.
for credit unions?
Sure.
I mean, one of the things that is very important is that credit unions we were talking about values before, and
Mhm.
I've spent a lot of time covering out a stint at CBS Money Watch, which is very straight, movement of money and Wall Street oriented, but it was a great education because my job was to study what was happening in capital markets and commodity markets overnight, and then write about what was going to happen the next day. And one of the things that I've had a real appreciation for, I'm a member of a credit union, and credit unions are nonprofit uh, cooperative organizations where they're democratically run. You can be on the board, you can be involved with the decision making, and the profits that are generated actually go towards keeping the cost down of banking, and also of making sure that that money stays locally and is invested in small businesses and in communities mortgages. That's not like I'll give you an example. The Municipal Credit Union in New York, which just was founded in 1916, has $5 billion under management, 500,000 members, went through a little spate of trouble, but recently it's back up and being run locally. It had been taken over by the National Credit Union Administration. But one of the things that's fascinating is it's a place where if you're starting out as a firefighter or a police officer, and you're not from money, there's a certain amount of money you have to spend to get your equipment, right? It's one of the few places you can go and just show that you have a promise of employment, and they will give you the money in advance to buy the equipment you need to be able to do your civil service job. So that's the kind of thing, and I think that that's the kind of thing when we talk about restructuring society. I'm also a big proponent of postal banking, because one of the things I found out researching, my brother Christopher is involved with doing nonprofit accounting work, community-based work as a storefront, helps folks out. And one of the things that he finds is that the impediment to getting that money we talked about, that billions of dollars, is something as simple as people don't have online banking. And so one of the key things you can do there is once you plug people into some kind of financial situation where they can manage their affairs and in a cooperative fashion, you begin to help them actualize. And so that there is a model. Like, we don't have to be alienated from money, but it's the capitalist value system of individuation, not acting in collective community concern, that we have to avoid.
Yeah, all great points. Thank you for sharing all this information about the credit unions too. It's really important to think about how to better or place, put our money. Like, I remember
Right.
I was very proud and loud when I withdrew all my money from Wells Fargo. I was very loudly, and they're like, "Why didn't you close
Excellent.
your account?" And I was like, "Well."
You have an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Let me speak in a louder tone of voice. But the post office being used for banking is one of those ideas that just excites me. Italy has a post office that does so much more than send and ship packages, and you can not only hold your bank account, you can pay your bills through them, you can even, yes, get loans, etc., through them, and it's a thriving organization. I mean,
Well, we had a postal bank. The thing that's crazy is that, like the assault weapon ban, it existed. It was happening. It was also a place where people, it was all over the place. So there's easy access. It was a lot of immigrants used it. And it's also something where when you look at the conventional commercial banking, we have like banking deserts, supermarket deserts. I mean, this is the model of capitalism. So reconstruction is going to be by plugging into abundance, and collectives are about abundance. Capitalism is about scarcity.
well, scarcity for most and abundance for others. I'm going to turn this banking question a little bit. I mean, we're on such a nice positive note, which would be great to end, but we are talking about Stuck Nation.
Right,
We are still stuck. We should remember
right,
also what we're up
right,
against.
right.
I have a comment here from James from YouTube. Can Bob speak to BlackRock and Vanguard, their influence, and what we can do to contest the
Oh,
1%?
so it's funny because these BlackRock is at the top of my mind because I was covering this horrendous battle in Alabama related to a coal miner strike that's gone on forever. It was a case where it was a bankrupt coal mine. The workers, in good faith, took major concessions in wages and to help them get back on their feet. They did. And then the company has been reneging on its part of the deal, and BlackRock holds a big piece of that. So this is what I was saying before, that these funds now have to be held accountable. I know that there are some old school folks who say the only way to do this is for transformation is to strike, and that's certainly an important tool in the tool chest, and organize. But there is this sense that, particularly with Congress stuck like it is and incapable of doing anything for working people, really, is that I'll give you an example. We had Brad Lander, the controller of New York City, elected office, and Tom DiNapoli, the New York State controller. Between them, they managed a couple $100 billion of public pension money. They enlisted a group of other like-minded pension managers of public pensions. Between New York State and New York City alone, they had $5 billion of Amazon stock. And so when Amazon had its annual shareholder meeting, and they were going to just rubber stamp the board directors, who, by the way, said it was okay for the top 5 executives to realize $400 million in compensation, they actually got a shareholder resolution, and 27% of the outside stock voted against these people being reappointed. That is a toehold in the door. I have seen other situations where diversity is now being challenged, and sometimes what's happening is the board of directors is agreeing to the concession or compromising because they don't want the fight. But we have to fight in all fronts now. So it includes, like, I'm working on something about Chipotle. That's another place that's been abusing its workforce. It's a place that's made all kinds of money. It's a place that's very reliant on its brand and on customer loyalty. So one of the things that the organizers are doing, 32BJ, which I think is creative, is having consumers who are part of the loyalty. You know how all those places like to incentivize you to be one of their consumers, using that platform as a way for consumers to tell Chipotle it matters how their workers are treated. So we have to work on all fronts. The other thing I like to do, whenever I go and get some kind of service somewhere, I get some help loading something up. We do a lot of projects around here, garden tree. I always give some money to the people helping me. I mean, I'm Social Security, and I always have this conversation where I say to the kid, usually a kid, here's some money. I hope you guys get a union. It was good to me. And I do that all the time, because those conversations build intergenerational trust, and you'd be surprised how much you learn from it. And for a couple of bucks, you get a great conversation.
This is amazing. I love learning how you do your. We hear the phrase "on the ground reporting." What does that look like? And this is exactly it. I mean, this is all the ways that Bob starts a conversation with people.